Check out the wind outside here. I picked the worst day to come out to review this baby. This is a new drone by FLYWOO. They're launching it at the end of this month. This is called the FLYWOO Venom H20. It is a hex drone. It's different than most hex drones on the market because it's a FLYWOO hex. And FLYWOO makes the smallest, micro-size, powerful drones on the planet, and this hex drone is no exception. It is also supposed to be, according to FLYWOO, the fastest 2-inch micro hex drone on the market, going 140 kilometers per hour. I don't know if it can go that fast, but with this wind, I think it's going to go that fast, no problem. Let me tell you a bit more about it. It's got 6 motors, that's why it's a hex. 2 of the motors point downward, as you can see here, and 4 motors point upwards. So you got a bit of a pusher system happening, plus you have the normal pull system happening. I've flown this indoors, and I will say it's extremely stable. You can fly this indoors, no problem. Probably wondering, how could I fly this indoors if it goes 140 kilometers an hour? Well, you just don't fly it that fast. It can carry a series of cameras. Matter of fact, they put a picture on their website of all the cameras it can carry. But the biggest camera it can carry is a DJI Action 2. I didn't put one on. I put an Insta360 Go 2, which is the camera that's the next weight category down, because that's what I think is more appropriate for this. Of course, camera's not in here. That's just the mount. What else can I tell you about it? Digital camera up front. So you do need the DJI FPV goggles to fly this baby. And oh my god, that wind is blowing. And it's got an ELRS receiver inside, so I have an ELRS beta FPV unit on the back that's going to communicate with this, because ELRS means I can fly behind all these buildings back here and still get reception, no problem. Or I can go out like 20 miles and still get reception, no problem. Although my limitation at 20 miles would be my video signal back to my goggles. It's not going 20 miles. Total weight of this drone with no battery is under 100 grams. With a battery, it's still under 200 grams. And with a camera and a battery, you're still under 250 grams. So extremely light to meet all the requirements of most countries. It's also very glowy. By that, I mean it's got LED lights on certain portions. And if I show you some video of it flying in the dark or at night or in my house, you can see it glowing right here. It's pretty cool looking. Now, the recommended battery for this is like a 700 milliamp hour LiPo battery. I don't have one. I only have a 650, so I'll be using that in this flight today. So how about we go try this? I'll put a GoPro hat on and show you some footage of this just spinning around me, and then we'll go take it for a super fast flight. Here we go. All right, so the radio I'm using for this flight is the Radiomaster TX16S Mark II. It's the newest one on the market, and I do have the little beta FPV module in the back for ELRS. And I'm going to put this down and then plug this in. Plug in our little battery. We're just going to fly this here with no goggles just to start. It's pretty windy, so this should be fun. You can kind of see the light glowy stuff inside. See it happening there? I don't know if you can see with the light. These light up, inside lights up. So anyways, let me put it down right there. Take our little guy here. I do have up there, you can see a DJI Mini 3 Pro just circling me as I'm filming here. I want to stick this in angle mode because I'm out in the wind, and arm it, and here we go in the wind. This should be fun. There we are. It just blows with the wind, so I'll bring it back. It is pretty stable even in the wind. The only thing I worry about a lot of times is those little legs. See the little legs at the bottom? I don't know if you can see them. Those legs look like if I slam that into the pavement, I might break them. Although, no problems indoors. Now, you can get prop guards for this. They do sell prop guards on the website. I don't have them, but they do exist. So for beginners or people that are flying indoors, or you might crash into something, you might want the prop guards as well. So all I'm showing you out here is the sound, so I'll be quiet. Listen for the sound. I'm bringing it close to me. There you go. It's very, very quiet. So I think this is one of the more quiet FPV drones with 6 motors on the planet. And like you can see, it's very stable here. Fly it around. I'm keeping it close so that I can keep it in the camera in my GoPro on my head. And I do have a little camera over in the front over there. Oh, I don't know if I can get it over to that camera with the wind. It's going, it's going, it's going. It's on an angle, but there we go. Hopefully that's in the view, and I'll bring it back to me. There we go. And then let's see if I can lay it down on the ground really softly here with those little legs. Look at it, it's in the wind on an angle. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. Hang on, here we go. Coming down, coming down, coming down on my feet. And hit the arm switch. And we're off and we're done. All right, so now the next thing to do is to, where's my little camera up there? Next thing to do is to take this and put my FPV goggles on and fly it around. It's super windy, so this could be a challenging flight, but we're going to try it out here. Here we go. All right, we're ready for our first flight. You can see I have the Insta360 Go 2 camera up top, and I have the 650 battery on the bottom. You are supposed to get 8 minutes of flight time if you put no camera on it, and you put like a 700 or 750 milliamp hour LiPo battery on the bottom, and you fly at a very relaxed speed. You'll get, you know, over 8 minutes of flight time. For the average person like me or anybody else, especially in these windy conditions, I'll be lucky if I even get 5 minutes with this battery and this weight. So let's go for a flight. Make sure this camera and the pilot camera are on about the same angle. They are good. We're all set to fly. See if I have a video signal in my goggles. Do I see anything? Yes, I do. There we go. It says disarm. That's a good sign because I don't have it armed. All right. So I'm in the back of a school area. There's no kids around or anything like that. What am I going to fly it in? I'm going to fly it in acro mode to start with, just to see how it goes. So let me try acro.
Flight mode angle. Flight mode acro.
There we go, acro mode. Arm it. I see the props going. So here we go, first flight in acro mode. See how this baby goes. All right. So I am going with the wind now, I believe. So I don't know how stable that is. I'm trying to keep it nice and slow for this first maiden video. Coming back, that's the playground I was hanging out in to fly everything. So far so good. Let's bring it down over here. I can go down low, almost smash into things. I don't know if I'm going with or against the wind at the moment because the wind is coming from different angles bouncing around. But so far the image is good. The control, I'm barely touching the joysticks to keep it nicely under control, and we'll spin it around, and I'm going to give it some power. I just don't want to run out of power. Ooh, there we go. So as you can see already, that's like 25% power, and we're moving. Look at that. I'm all way over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's go back this way. There we go. In the background, you can hear it screaming now, so I might be going against the wind. Hard to tell. You know, a drone like this, so small and everything, you'd probably want to fly it lower to the ground, vice higher to the ground. Let's try penetration. I'm going behind the building, you know, the Jeep's the other spot, no problem. Everything's cool here. Go up, and let's slow it down again. Slow it down, come back to me. There we go. It's definitely got lots of power, and in the wind, I'm having no problem keeping it pretty stable, which is pretty good. So there I am there, my series of cameras. I can fly through them nice and slow. I am in acro mode too, so which is the cool thing. Normally this would be like stability mode to go this slow, but no, acro mode's good. And let's try some freestyle. If you go up and you want to go forward and you want to do something like a flip. There we go. That's a fast flip. I didn't mean to do it that fast. Let's try a roll. Whoa! Nice. Goes nice that way. So there's no problem with freestyle in this, even in the wind. Okay, now I think I'm being blown by the wind because look at it go when I go in that direction. I'm over the forest now. I'm leaving. If I dropped it down there, I wouldn't find it. There's too much stuff down there. All right, well, since I'm away behind the school over there, but look at how far away I am now. I got to bring it down. The last thing I want to do is lose this little guy and have to wander around looking for it. So I'll tell you my impressions already. It's a really cool drone. I love the concept. It responds, I'm sure every reviewer is going to say the same thing. It responds like it's amazing. Like it was just made for your type of flying skills. It can go super slow, as you see here. It can go super low to the ground. I can pop it up slightly to go over things. It's so responsive. And because it's ELRS, there's tons of penetration. You can go behind things, you can fly far away and not lose any signal degradation no matter what. It's really good for that. So what's over here? Let's go slow down this way. There's a building entrance there. I'm not familiar with this area too much. So let's go over here. I don't know what's coming up, if there's fences or anything. Nah, it's all good, all good. This thing flies like a champ. I'm sure anybody who buys this is just gonna be blown away. Now, I'm flying on one of the windiest days. In the FPV hobby, we don't really worry about the wind because we fly like 5-inch drones, but this is a 2-inch quad. It is super powerful, so I haven't noticed any problems with the wind, like not being able to move forward or backwards through the wind. I know I'm only flying in one area, and that's just because, once again, I don't want to have to go look for this thing if I lose it someplace. All right, so let's bring it on back, and let's put it on down over here. Coming in, those little legs going down. I gotta find my arm switch, and there we are. Boink. All right, it's much too windy outside, so I'm gonna show you an indoor flight. I've already flown this indoors when I first received it and bound it to my radio and everything and tested it out, and it flies perfect. It's very stable. Probably one of the most stable drones I've ever flown. It's really good. Even when I was flying in acro mode there in that wind, it was super stable. I never had the feeling that I was going to lose control. It always felt like it was flying like this, like very stable. But no, it was like this and cruising along. It's pretty cool. All right, so a few things to tell you, other things I didn't mention before. It's got an F7 flight controller, CADX Polar Nano digital camera up front, digital VTX, I already mentioned. You saw me wearing the FPV digital goggles for that. They've made the system in here so it doesn't overheat and it keeps it quite light. If you want to get extra batteries for this, just get anything that's a 4S 800 milliamp hour LiPo battery all the way down to like a 450 milliamp hour LiPo battery. Just make sure on the battery you have an XT30 connector to plug into the back. And what else to tell you before I take it for a flight? Oh, the motors are 48,000 kV motors and the props are Gemfan, and I already mentioned they're 2-inch props, and they are 5 bladed props. See if I bring it close, you have 5 blades on the props. All right, I've left the little camera mount on top. I'm not gonna put a camera on it. I'm just gonna put a GoPro hat on, fly it around so you can see how glowy it is indoors and how stable it is. And I'm gonna fly it in angle mode, so here we go. All right, let me stand back here. Let me make sure this is in angle mode.
Flight mode angle.
Oh, I got it right on the first time. Sometimes I get that wrong. All right, just power it on. The motors are spinning and take it up. You'll see how nice it is. Look at how stable that is right there. And because the camera still have it. Now that my GoPro's got it, let's go around the house. Okay. So I want to show you the glowy lights, so I'll keep it at head height. And let's take it around. You can see how the 2 bottom props are like pusher. Look at it, it's blowing everything on the ground away. And the 4 upper props are like pulling it up in the air. There we go. Very easy drone to fly. It has a flight controller on it that has been tuned so perfectly for stability. For the weight that you put on top, so you can fly it low to the ground like this if you want, or you can fly it higher up in the air. I don't want to go too high, I'll hit the ceiling. But yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? All right, I'm sure a lot of you, if you get this, you're gonna love this drone, because I will say, I don't really have any negatives to say about it. It's like so freaking good. All right, so you plop it down, make sure you hit your arm switch, boink, or else you do some bouncing. So you see, it's super easy to fly indoors. Really, really good FPV drone. Now, I'm going to take off my GoPro hat, and a lot of people always comment when I take off my hat that I have a big red mark on my forehead. I don't have enough hair or bangs to like cover it. So yeah, you're going to see a red mark. But I'll let this try to heal itself a little bit. And for now, let me show you what comes in the box if you buy this. Check this out. This is the box your FLYWOO comes in, and these are the specifications of the Venom H20 I was using in this video review. You will note that the quadcopter is constructed of carbon fiber, metal, and plastic. Accessories in the box include spare props, screws, nuts and bolts, spare battery strap and zip ties, important information, guides, documentation, and stickers. Here you can see the weight of the drone with various batteries. All right, so the red mark is going to remain. I guess it's going to stay that way until I finish this video. So what are my final thoughts on this drone? Well, when FLYWOO told me about this drone about a month ago, I was like, man, that's going to be pretty impressive. I hope it lives up to the hype that I'm thinking it will have, because FLYWOO has made an awful lot of small drones. And all their little drones, micro size, have been so amazing. Like, they are one of the few companies that make these super amazing one-of-a-kind drones that is so difficult for other companies to copy that other companies don't even bother copying their drones. So if you have a FLYWOO drone, you pretty much have the only type of drone of its style, because other companies don't have the technology to copy it. So I will say this one is amazing. It's incredible. The only thing I couldn't test out is the fact that, well, it goes 140 kilometers per hour. But I couldn't test that out because I'd have to put a certain type of battery on here that would allow me to get up to 140 kilometers. What that means is a battery with a really high C rating, maybe 160 C or something high like that. And I'd have to take the camera off and have no wind. That wasn't really what this video is about. So I'll just take their word it goes 140 kilometers per hour for those who wish to fly that fast. For freestyle and everything else, it's very agile. For flying slow, doing cinema type video, low to the ground, it's perfect for that, because you saw I could go really slow even in acro mode, which is very rare for a lot of drones to allow me to do that in acro mode, but this one here, no problem. And you can go super fast if you want, which is really good. See these little legs? I keep looking at them and saying, if I was a newbie and I flew this into the ground, I'm probably going to break the legs. Now the legs just screw on and off so you can easily replace them. So are the legs really required if you destroyed them? The answer is nope, not required at all. Why? Because let me just show you. See those legs? They are there just to keep the drone off the ground so that these bottom motors, the props, do not touch. But if you take a look, when you attach a battery, the battery is longer, so that it will sit on the ground and the motors will stay up. So you really don't need the legs. So if you did destroy them, it'd be fine. So with all that said, I don't think anybody is going to be disappointed with this drone. I think this is going to be a very popular drone and they're going to sell a ton of these things. I don't know how much they're selling them for, but I'm sure they're going to sell an awful lot of them. And the fact that it's ELRS means that you have tons of penetration when you're flying this behind things, low to the ground, going around buildings. You won't lose any reception. The only place you could possibly lose reception is in your goggles, but digital goggles are really good close up. They only have problems when you get far away and start going behind buildings and stuff. Then they become problematic, but close up, they're fine. So the links below are to this drone, and since it's ELRS, I guess what I should do is, how about I put a link to this radio? This is the Radiomaster TX16S, which I used in this video, the Mark II. I have a full review of it. I even show you how to set up a model in it if you watch that review, so you could actually set up the model for this drone, no problem. And I'll also put a link to this little module on the back. That's from Beta FPV. I think it's like 40 bucks for an ELRS module. Is my red mark still there? Is it gone? If you have questions on this drone, this quadcopter, just post them below and I will get back to you with the answer. But for now I say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and I'll catch you in future videos with many more cool reviews. Until then, I say bye.